Welcome, trainers, to a daring adventure in the world of Pokemon. Join me as we assemble a team of the 6 weakest fully evolved Pokemon. Together we'll navigate treacherous routes and conquer formidable gyms. Prepare for a newfound appreciation for the undesired Pokemon. So grab your Pokeballs and let's embark on this challenge run together. Remember, it's not always about raw power, but the bonds we forge and the determination that drives us. Coming up first is Ditto for the team. Perfectly even stats all the way down. His total stats is 288 with only a weakness to fighting. Nothing too special. Following Ditto is Delibird with total stats of 330, 4-time weakness to rock, and 2-time weakness to steel, fire, and electric. Third in the team is Luvdisc with weakness to grass and electric. Its total stat is 330. With a total stats of 380 is our ghost type Sableye with only 2-time weakness to fairy. Second to last is Kricketune. With being a bug type, it has weakness to flying, rock, and grass. And our last Pokemon for the team with the highest stats is Spidops with 404 with weaknesses to flying, rock, and fire. And in case you didn't know, Kricketune has the highest HP and attack. Spidops has defense and special defense. Luvdisc is our speedy Pokemon. And both Delibird and Sableye tie for having the highest special attack. Like any other Pokemon game, I must choose one of the 3 starters, and I decided to go with Fuecoco. Not that it matters, because shortly after he got sent directly into the Pokebox. After getting that and my team mostly set up, I decided to head out to go fight the bug gym leader. But before facing the gym leader, I must do the famous olive roll gym test, which was really disappointing. Going up against our first gym leader, Katie, she had a pretty simple team. A Nimble, a Tarountula, and a Teddiursa. All bug type, with Teddiursa using the Terra type bug. Not big threat since bug type seems to have a pretty common weaknesses. My team facing her, I already had all 6, which some of them I was able to find in the wild, and there was 3 that I had a breed to get into an egg, which was just Delibird, Sableye, and Luvdisc. Could have gone Sableye, but I didn't really want to push my luck, and with them it was a pretty easy victory. After that we go on to the grass gym leader. Having to do his test was basically a hide and seek with some Floras. The grass type gym leader had another 3 set. The grass gym leader had a pretty easy team once again. It had a Petilili, a Smoliv, and a Sudowoodo with the Terra type grass. Sudowoodo I thought would have been a pretty big threat, but he wasn't as bad as I thought. And after a simple, quick battle, that's another gym down for me. After that, I decided to go after the Fire Crew base. My team leveled up a little bit, nothing too much. I felt fairly confident. Mela, the boss of Team Starfire, had only 2 Pokemon, if you count one of them as a Pokemon. The first one being a Torkoal, and the second one being a Vivavoom. First up was his Torkoal, which, with my Luvdisc knowing water type moves, Torkoal wasn't too much of a threat. His next Pokemon, though, took me out pretty quick, and with only Kricketune being my last Pokemon, of course, I lost. So I decided to go out and level up some more. I found some wild Tauruses, a group of them, and I battled them. Then I decided to go after one of the Titans, Bombardier. I thought I wasn't strong enough to fight Mela, so I figured this would be a good test to find out if I was ready. And of course I was. I decided to go back this time to fight Mela of Team Star. With my team a bit more leveled up, I decided to start off with Ditto, therefore I could transform into his Torkoal, getting some use out of Ditto. And as you can tell, the victory, although close, was in for me. Thank goodness Lovedis was the speedy Pokemon. And with that, our first Team Starfall crew member was defeated. I then decided to head over to Iona and get the Electric Gym battle done. But before that, Nemona decided she wanted a battle. That's fine with me, easy experience. She only had 3 Pokemon on her team, one being Rockruff, Palmy, and then the starter evolved Pokemon, Floragato, being her ace. And after a pretty easy victory, thanks to Kricketune having Bug type, Fury Cutter, she went down. So I decided to go in, start Iona's gym test, and of course it's a Finding Waldo. So, after 3 quick rounds of finding Mr. Walkabout, I passed. So as I began to battle Iona, my team had quite a bit of level difference compared to her. With her lowest being a level 23 Wattrel, a Bellybolt, a Luxio, and her ace, which was a level 24 Mismagius, all being electric and her ace having the Terra type electric, it went pretty easy with Bug type being resistant to electricity. And that's another gym badge down. Thanks, Iona. So I decided to go and head over to the Lurking Steel Titan, thinking that this should be a pretty easy, having to go behind it and surprise the Steel Titan in order to initiate the battle. It went down pretty easy. After the first battle, it decided to run away. We chased it and we fought it one last time. And to my surprise, Ditto came in handy. Thankfully, it was able to transform into Earthworm and I was able to overpower it. And because of that, we got another Titan down. After that, I decided to head over to see Articus, the Poison Crew base. With my team in about mid-30s, I thought I didn't have a problem. Atticus and his team of poison, consisting of Skuntank, Muck, Revavroom, and another Revavroom, even though it's the Starmobile, I felt like I should have this in the bag. But unfortunately, I did not. So I decided to go out and looking for some moves, even though I just went out to find a Drain Punch. Fighting him the second time and not using the TM that I just got, Spidups was the star of the show with a move that he learned called Counter, which surprisingly helped me out with Revavroom. So thank you for the win. After that, I decided to try to teach my team some moves that I thought would be helpful, mostly Sableye, and teaching him some punching moves. Heading up to the snowy north area, I decided to level up, and I found out that even though you may have 100% accuracy, does not mean you will hit 100% of the time, even though evasion was never changed with the opponent, as you can see here. While exploring the lands, I found an Adamant Mint, which increases attack and decreases special attack. I gave that to Sableye, who is also holding on to the punching glove. I also went out to find some other TMs that I thought would be useful for my team, like Ice Beam, Serve, and I taught them to my Pokemon, hopefully giving them a bit more of an edge when it comes to battling. After doing all that, I headed over to the Quaking Earth Titan. My team now in their lower 40s for the most part, I decided to battle against the Great Tusk. Thankfully for my Delibird, we were able to take it down without too much trouble. And with that, we got the Earth Titan defeated. I went out and found some more TMs like Sword Dance, Brick Break, Drill Run, the item Leftovers, and I gave them to my team to make them almost complete. I decided to head over and take my chance against Kafu, who apparently ran out because there was an auction and he dropped his wallet. So I had to go over there, drop off his auction, fight one of his bodyguards before he would take me on. My team has now been moved up to about upper 40s, and I felt pretty comfortable since Kufku was the water gym leader. With only having 3 Pokemon being the Luza, Lugtrio, and the Crabominable having the Terra type water, he went down pretty easily. All thanks to Sableye knowing Thunder Punch, Drain Punch. And that gave me the victory against Kufku. Now it's time to head over to Larry, the normal gym leader and probably my favorite gym leader of this game. In order to fight him, I had to figure out the secret menu. After figuring that out, I was able to battle him, and with his team of 3, Komala, Dunsparce, and a Staraptor with the Terra type normal, I didn't have, because once again, normal's weak against fighting, Drain Punched them to keep my Sableye's health, and when the Staraptor came out, I could either Drain Punch him or just Thunder Punch him, therefore not giving me too much trouble at all. Trying to leave Larry to head to my next objective, Nimona decided she wanted a battle with her team Lycanroc, Gumi, Palmo, and now her starter, and with her fully evolved starter, I was able to take her out pretty easy thanks to Kricketune using Sword Dance and Leech Life, making her ace so much easier to defeat. Now that she's done, I decided to head over to the Dark Cruise base, talk to the guards, trying to sound cool and tough. After getting past that, Giacomo was ready to battle me with only having 2 Pokemon, one of them being a level 21 Pawniard. Yes, that's right, level 21. I must have went a little bit out of order. He went down pretty easy, especially since my team was up in the upper 40s for the most part. I decided to go down to the southwest corner to take on the gym leader down there. After doing a dancing feeling test, whatever you might want to call that, I was able to take on the gym leader, who was psychic. She had Farigiraf, Gardevoir, Espathra, and Florges, who had the Terra type psychic since it's a fairy type. I'm not too worried about this gym because of my Kricketune doing Sword Dance and Leech Life, which didn't have to worry about my health, and I was able to take out her team as easily as that. Now I make my way to the Fighting Crew's base, Airy. With my team being in the 50s, my thoughts were this was going to go down pretty smooth, not having any difficulties. She had a team of 5, one of them being a Toxicroak at level 55, a Passimian, Lucario, Annihilate, and of course their Starmobile, Revavroom, being at level 56. However, to my surprise, I got destroyed by her Starmobile, so I decided to take a look into my inventory. Noticed that I had a bunch of candy just sitting in my pocket. Nicely offered my team some candy to level them up. Then I decided to go take on another Titan, the False Dragon Titan, leveled up in that area a little bit, making my team up to about upper 50s, some 60s. And after fighting Dodongza and discovering that the little fish Tatsugiri was the real dragon, I was able to take them out and finish that Titan off. I then thought I should now be ready to take on Erie. Yeah, that was a big no. Although I did get a little bit further, I still got destroyed. So I decided to take a break from her, head up north again to the Snowy Mountains to take on Rhyme, the Ghost Gym leader, only to be stopped by our good friend who wants to battle again. She had basically the same team, Lycanroc, Slagoo, Pawmot, and Meowscarade. Duh. I was able to take her team out pretty easy again. Onto the gym leader, I did the gym test, which was just battling a few people to get the crowd warmed up for the big battle. And seeing that her team consisted of Mimikyu, who I absolutely love, Banette, Houndstone, and her ace Pokemon Toxtricity, having the Terra-type Ghost, of course, I wasn't worried as I was at least 15 levels higher. I decided to start off with Kricketune and Ditto, having Kricketune do Sword Dance, and then having my very slow Ditto transform into Kricketune. I destroyed her. She didn't stand a... And nothing's more annoying than having Kricketune do its little battle cry at the same time. I then travel a little bit of ways after Rhyme to go fight Grusha, who I do not know if it's a boy or a girl. So after doing the snow test, which consisted of just snowboarding with my Pokemon, I was able to get the opportunity to fight Grusha, with my team hitting in the 60s, and her team being in the upper 40s, consisting of Frostmoth, Beartic, Setitan, and her ace Altaria. And that's right, you guessed it, with the Terra-type Ice, because that's what Grusha represents, is the Ice type. I was able to take her out without any problems, thanks to Sableye having Fire Punch, and if needed, Drain Punch to restore some health. After being tired of the cold, I decided to head on over to where it's a bit warmer to take on Ortega, the Fairy Crew base. His team consisted of a level 50 Azumarill, Wigglytuff, and Dachsbun, with, of course, the Starmobile Revaroom. At this part, I was very surprised on how well the team was doing, especially Kricketune being able to take out a lot of Pokemon where I might have needed help at. After seeing that I had all the Titans taken care of, I decided to go take a visit to our good friend Arvin. After learning a little bit about his mother, and I'm sure as you could probably figure out, Kricketune was the star of this battle, having Sword Dance and Leech Life, making his ace partner going down in one hit. But of course, I had to sacrifice the majority of my team for that to happen. But that gave me the notification that I had completely finished the Path of Legends. I then decided to go and become champion. So I headed up north to take on the Elite Four. My team all being at level 60 for the most part, my highest being level 68 Kricketune and my lowest being a level 60 Ditto. I thought I was ready. So I head in, took the test, I got approved to head in, and I was able to take on Raika, I think is how you pronounce his name, being the ground Elite Four member, having Wishcash, Camerupt, Donphan, Dugtrio, and Clodsire. Having only lost 2 Pokemon, and of course bringing out my star Kricketune, I was able to take out the first Elite Four member. Next was Poppy, who specialized in Steel type, having Capraja, Corviknight, Bronzong, Magnezone, and Tinkaton. Unfortunately, Steel type was very weak to fire, so Sableye took care of most, and those that Sableye could not take care of, that's right, Kricketune came out and was able to finish off the rest. Up next was our favorite gym leader, Larry, who this time specialized in Flying type, having Tropius, Staraptor, Altaria, Oricorio, and Flamingo. Unlike the other two, Larry destroyed me with his ace, and having known Brave Bird that I was not ready for. So I decided, you know what, my Pokemon deserves to be treated. We got so far, so I decided to make a picnic and have a ham sandwich, which the one thing I was looking at was the encountered power normal. So I flew back to where I fought Ortego, ate the sandwich, and fought a bunch of Chanseys that helped gave me huge amounts of experience, making my team now mid-60s to low 70s. So I headed back in for round 2, took out the first Elite Four team member, this time Sableye coming in to help secure a victory. Then I moved on to Poppy, who was much easier and didn't lose any Pokemon. After her, Larry came back out, and I was not looking good fighting against his ace Pokemon. All I had was Love Disc, but having Ice Beam, I knew that I was going to be able to finish this fight off if I was able to move first. And I was. Thanks to his recklessness of using Brave Bird, I was able to move first. Ice Beam, victory. Hassel came out, being a Dragon type Elite Four member, having Noivern, Dragauga, Flapple, Haxorus, and Baxcalibur. I was scared at this point, but luckily Sableye had Ice Punch and was able to carry me through all the way up to Baxcalibur, whose Icicle Crash move along with Glaive Rush started wiping out my team. Luckily I was able to swap out and stall him a bit, enough for Sableye to finish off the fight. And with 4 down, that only left the champion, Geeta. She had a well-rounded team, starting off with Espathra, Avalugg, King Gambit, Gogoat, Veluza, and her ace, Glamora, who in my honest opinion should have been her first starter, with the ability to be able to lay out toxic spikes whenever it got hit by a physical move. Would have been much better than being at the end of the game. But hey, don't ask me why. I'm not the champion. And with Glamora Terra typing into the ground type, Sableye was able to Drain Punch it, making it super effective and securing our win and becoming champion. Only realizing after all this time I forgot one of the crew bases. I thought surely by now I should have no problem winning against Erie, the fighting crew. My team was up in the 70s for the most part, and even then, I almost lost. But thanks to Love Disc being fast enough and going first against the Starmobile, I was able to win, resulting in finishing up all of the Starfall's little bosses. I received a phone call from Cassiopeia, who claims to be the boss, but wanted to meet in the schoolyard at nighttime. After arriving, a very familiar face came out claiming to be Cassiopeia of Team Star and demanded that we must battle to see if I am worthy. The team consisted of Oranguru, Abomasnow, Poltergeist, Houndoom, Amoonguss, and Quadravel. After being easily defeated, Clavel admitted that he was indeed not Cassiopeia. Only seconds later did I receive a phone call telling me to meet in the battlegrounds, and that this person was indeed the real Cassiopeia. Who was it? It was none other than Penny. Her team consisted of Evolutions, which was Umbreon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Leafeon, and Sylveon, who, even though I would have changed some of their moves, mostly baby doll eyes, it wasn't too bad. Being able to switch out when needed, her team gave me no trouble whatsoever. In fact, it was pretty fun, and that completed Starfall Street. Next was to take on Nimona. Now that I am a champion, she wanted to be able to go full out against me. Starting off with my Spidops, who was able to use Sticky Web and lay down some poisonous spikes. I felt ready. Her team consisted of Lycanroc again, Goodra, the Dunsparce, Orthworm, Pawmount, and of course, Masquerada. This time I decided to see if Delibird had what it takes to still have some use for the team, and it did. Thanks to Fly, I was able to fly, heal with the item leftovers. After that victory, I was able to complete the victory road. And even after all that, the game was not done. I now had to go to the Zero Gate and go down to the Great Crater that Arvin insisted that we must go to. But before I wanted to go down there, I stocked up on some ingredients, made myself a delicious looking sandwich, leveled up back where the Chanseys were, and it was time to start the adventure. My team was mid 70s to low 80s. After traveling all the way down to the bottom, I opened up the gate that released some dangerous Pokemon. First one being the Great Tusk, who was not a problem. Following him was Brute Bonnet, which posed no threat. And finally, Fluttermane, who I thought I might have had some trouble with, but was pretty easy. After some story, AI Seda decided she wanted to battle me. She had all the Paradox Pokemon of the past, so she had Slitherwing, Brute Bonnet, Screamtail, Sandy Shocks, Fluttermane, and Roaring Moon. After some careful consideration of sending out Pokemon, I was able to take her out. Then it got very serious. AI Seda decided to send out her own Koraidon. And because of the security system, I was not able to use any of my own Pokemon. So the only one I could choose was my Koraidon. After being able to transform into its normal form, the battle was on of the two Koraidons. After some time, I was able to terrestrialize my Koraidon, giving him Terra Blast in a much more effective way. After that crazy chain of events down in the Great Crater, we all managed to be able to get out of there and have a nice, heartwarming walk back home. My thoughts about this weakest fully evolved run was that it wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought I would have came across a lot more challenging times, but really that never happened. Cricketune surprisingly helped out quite a bit along with Sableye. And that makes me believe that perhaps, I don't remember her name, it was second generation using Dark type, I believe. But you can truly win with your favorite Pokemon. And I do understand this wasn't the weakest of all Pokemon, but I do believe it is possible. After all that credits, the Academy professor wanted to meet up with me, gave me a Master Ball. Checking out my Pokedex, I only caught 10 Pokemon and I battled 312 times. My final team, Sableye, who had the held item Punching Glove and the Hardy nature, had the moves Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, and Drain Punch at level 83. Coming in at level 79 was Cricketune, with the Big Root item held onto, and the Naughty nature It had Leech Life, Night Slash, Sword Dance, and Brick Break. Next was Delibird at level 76. It had the leftover held item. It had Drill Peck, Ice Spinner, Drill Run, Fly, and the Nature Hardy. Love Disc with the Mystic Water item had Aqua Ring, Surf, Ice Beam, and Protect at level 78 in the Hardy Nature. Last was Spidops with the Silver Powder held item, the Adamant Nature, and the moves U-Turn, Toxic Spike, Sticky Web, and Leech Life at level 81. Oh, and Ditto, who had the Lucky Egg, Adamant Nature, and the only move Nature or Transform. After all that, I decided, let's have a little fun. I'm going to go online and do some casual battles. As the battles I played online goes on, I do want to take this time to say thank you so much for watching. As this is the first episode, I've noticed a lot of things I could have done different, and I can promise you the next episode that comes out for a Pokemon run, which if you want a little hint, it is to take place in Legends Arceus. It's going to be pretty different. There's going to be 2 videos I will post. One of them I want to have like basically an uncut video, and then a second one being extremely well cut but showing a lot of important things. So like this, but videos. So no more pictures. That's going to go out. That was a really bad choice. But make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any more. I'll see you guys in the next challenge.